Welcome to Couples Connect, and this is the wide portion of Couples Connect, where we tell you who we are, you learn about us, what we got going on, and why did we want to start a podcast called Couples Connect, right? So basically, Couples Connect is where we come together and we talk about different things in terms of marriage. We talk about money and mindset. So many things can be covered under those topics. So we want to basically just bring couples together where we're going to be interviewing people, talking to them about, the experiences they've had, things they want to, do with their marriage, things they went through, victories, the ups, the downs, and
the valleys, the mountaintops.
Everything in between, man. So, so we're excited about Couples Connect. We're going to get into some stuff. By the way, my name is Kevin, Kevin Locks. This is my wife,
Tanya Locks.
And we got 3 kids. We've been married for 24 years this year. And 2024, we're going to make 24 years. Yeah. So we're excited about this thing, man. We feel like we got some stuff to share.
We've been experiences.
Yeah, we got some things we've been through. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about a little bit of our business, let you into our world. And then we'll be also interviewing other amazing couples to allow them to share their story with you guys as well. But today is why we want to do a podcast. Why you want to do a podcast, girl? Talk to them. Why?
Well, I want to do a podcast because I feel that with the experiences that we've had, in our marriage, honestly, I feel like we are just now getting started. And I know that there are so many people who feel like, maybe they got married 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and they're feeling like, why did I get married? And there are a lot of reasons why you get married. But the reason why I want to start this podcast, or why we're doing is because we want to help other marriages. And we want to do it in a way that we're being honest, in a way that we're being real, and we're sharing our experiences with the hope of helping someone see that they're not alone in their marriage.
Absolutely, man. I think one of the things Oprah said it best is like, when she was asked, why do you do a show, a talk show? And she said because she wanted other people to see themselves inside of her guests, right? Yeah. Want to see them going through the same things. And I think that's the same thing with the podcast. We want people to kind of look at our podcast and see another couple who's gone through what they're going through or been through what they've been through, and learn from maybe how they've went through it, how they've overcome it, right? And just kind of dealt with those situations. The biggest thing is, we pray and hope that, healing can begin.
Yes.
We feel that many marriages are going through a lot of things, right? Suffering in silence, and we need help. And I don't really think people are turning to the church, like maybe they used to. I don't think they feel like they can depend on the church, where they can go and be transparent and open about their relationship, their marriage. So yeah, man, we just want to open up a platform where people can talk about their marriage openly, but at the same time, not just to put their business out there, but more than anything, it's to really share their testimony of what they've gone through, or maybe even dealt with already, and now have overcome those things. So we want to just open that platform for healing to begin, just through the opportunity to be able to be transparent and open, no judgment, right? No judgment zone, and let's talk, man. Let's connect. Couples connect. That's how we're gonna do it. So a little bit about us, man. I'm from New Iberia, Louisiana, right? We have been in Dallas, Texas, when Grand Prairie, now since Dallas since 2000. We've been here, so we come here from, didn't send us here. We actually came out here, we moved, we got married, and we wanted to start our life here in Dallas, Texas. So we've been here for 24 years. Now we got 3 kids. We got twins, Kevin and Hannah, and then we got our baby girl, Miss Naomi. So our twins are 17, going to be 18 this year. Our baby girl is 15, going to be 16 this year. So yeah, man. So we got some stuff from parenting that we went through. We were a little bit different on parenting. We had some challenges with the parenting piece. And then also, of course, just the day-to-day from, finances, learning one another. We had our own traumas coming into the marriage early on. First year, I didn't know we was gonna make it. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't either.
First,
I was like,
it was tough. It was tough. So yeah, we're gonna get into all of that over a period of time, just through, talking on the podcast. But I think the biggest thing is for us to really just kind of be transparent enough to where we hope that we can share something that can help another couple out there. We just feel like if one couple can tune into our podcast and feel like, wow, man, I've been there, or we going through that right now, and that really helped us, then we feel like this was worth it. This was worth it. So stay connected, man, with Couples Connect. We want you guys to stay locked in and tune in to what we got going on, the content that we're going to share. We want you guys to be involved, get connected to everything that we got going on, because we feel like this is going to be a great ride, man. We're going to all learn and grow together. So where are you from? What you got going on, girl?
So I'm from New Orleans.
New Orleans, okay.
Where you can find the best food in the world. The culture is really awesome there as well. But I'm from New Orleans, and we met. Well, let me first say this. I'm from New Orleans, and I left New Orleans at the age of 21?
You was a little tender. You was a little young tender.
So I left there at 21 actually, and I left with Kevin. So we met in New Orleans. I know we're going to jump into that story, but anyway, I'm from New Orleans. Yeah. You said already how many kids we have. What else you want to know?
How we met. Let's get into it, right? Because there's always two stories, man. Let's just get this out the way right now.
Every time we tell this story, I think it changes every time. But we met. I lived in the 9th Ward, Florida Project.
Yep.
And I would catch 3 buses to work. And we met at
Swagman's grocery store.
Yeah, Airline Highway. We met. And I was on an aisle looking for a birthday card for someone, and he happens to just walk on the aisle. Now, I, was hearing the whole time about this new guy that started at Swagman. I mean, the girls were just going crazy over this new guy. I was not interested even in knowing who he was. So I was on the aisle looking for a card, and he comes over and he asks me straight up, do you have some friends I can meet? He didn't ask me for my name, nor did he ask me for my number at the time. He just asked me, do you have some friends I can meet? I'm from New Iberia. I'm new in the town, and, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I got a friend that works in seafood over there. And my other friend, she already have someone. He was like, yeah, I saw the one in seafood. She looked ghetto. She got all them golds in her mouth, and he was like, nah, I'm going to stay away from that. So I was like, well, I can't help you then. So he left, and he came right back. And he was like, so what's your name? Really? After 10 minutes of talking to me, he finally come back and asked me my name. So he asked me my name, then he asked me for my phone number, and I gave him letters that he had to put together and figure out the phone number. If he really wanted to talk to me, he had to figure out the phone number. So I didn't give him numbers. I gave him the letters. A, B, C, D, E, Y, G, whatever.
That was something new. That's how y'all do it in New Orleans. You ask for a girl phone number in New Orleans, they give you alphabets.
Well, I have a story behind that, but I gave him that. 2 days later, he comes to me at work and was like, hey, I figured out your number. And I talked to your grandmother. I was like, okay. And since then, after that, we kind of started not really dating, but just going out. He took me out on a date one time, and we would see each other at work. And it was almost not a challenge, but, like I said, these girls were just crazy over this new guy. And so I minded my business. I didn't get into all of that, didn't talk to anybody about him. But it was Kevin Locks. That's how we met.
Yeah,
and I worked in deli, by the way. I was slicing deli meat. My God, the deli. Ooh, we have stories about the deli. And Kevin worked in stock. He was a stock boy.
Stock boy. Yep, sure was. Yeah, man. So that's how it all began in New Orleans, and now 27 years later, because we were 3 years
Of
just dating, getting to know each other, and then and then after that, she made me put a ring on it, So
No, I did not make you put a ring on it. You wanted to put a ring on it.
I did,
and I accepted. But I knew you were going to be my husband early on, though.
Yeah. It was. I tell you what. Let me tell you. You already know, but just for the audience to know why I got to the point of wanting to put a ring on it, because in my small town of New Iberia, where I was from, I had a few girlfriends, dating, everything, but it was just different. When I met this lady here, man, it was a different kind of love that I had never experienced before. And there's some stuff that we can get into, about that and why the love was different and why it was, even like such of an attachment, right? But we both had our childhood traumas, but for me, it was just a love that I had never experienced before. I knew I didn't have to question if this girl loved me, if she cared for me, if she had my back. There was no question at all, and I think that pretty much solidified it for me, because also we had a vibe, we had we connected, chemistry for sure. In every area. So it was just one of those things where I knew that this was something different. It was different than anything I'd ever experienced.
Well, the same with you. Like I, being in New Orleans, and I met, guys, and just the way that they were and where I grew up at. I never really left that area much, but the guys that I saw there were so different from you. So when I met you, it was like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. A breath of fresh air. It's, you soon became a safe space for me. It was totally different. Yeah. And I think that is one of the reasons that made me really love you so much and attach myself to you so much, because your level of, love that I felt you had for me, but also just how charming you were, or still is, and how attentive you were to me, and just wanting to be with me without the other stuff that men usually want and look for.
For sure. It was different. It definitely was different. It felt like a God thing.
Yeah.
It really did. And then today I still feel that way. We both feel that God brought us together.
Yeah.
So that's how we met. But at the same time, even once we left New Orleans, I was out there 3 years.
You out there a year and a half.
3 years? A year and a half? That short? Oh, well, we were dating for 3 years together. Yeah. 3 years. I was in New Orleans just for a year and a half. Wow.
And then we dated in New Orleans, a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Then
a lot happened in New Orleans in a year and a half.
Yeah. You left a little country and you came out there and you were wild and free.
All this, man. Body, baby.
Them doors open wide up.
You make them say,
In New Orleans.
They made me say, They made me say, It was good, though. It was good. And the reason why I would like that, because when I first moved there, even though you and I connected, we dated a little bit, and then there were times when we broke up.
We broke up. You want to tell that story? One of those stories?
Man, we ain't got to get all to tell all of my business in this episode.
No, that was a funny story,
we'll get into all that. But, so we dated and, broke up and got back together. We did that little whole thing, but...
Like 2 times.
In a year and a half, a lot happened in a year and a half. But look, New Orleans was new to me. It was a different vibe, different energy.
Women.
Listen, it was a good time in New Orleans. Everybody have a good time when they get to New Orleans. It was just a good time. But through that, right, we made it, and we knew, hey, we need to change the pace. So we moved back home, back home to my little country town, New Iberia, Louisiana.
But tell them why you came to New Orleans.
I came to New Orleans, man, because, I used to be a part of a singing group. So we used to do a little doo-wop, little singing group, and we thought we were going to be, the next big star, R&B group. And we were chasing our dream. In New Iberia, there was nothing going on. Long story short, at the time, No Limit, records, Master P was popping, and that was the closest to us in terms of like record labels where music was really hot and going on, and so we was chasing a dream. Went to New Orleans thinking we was gonna get with Master P and and be the next big R&B group, But
What was the name of your group?
Huh. And it was FLIK, FLIKK.
KK.
Yes, faith, love, integrity, kindness, and knowledge. It was just the acronym, so it's called FLIK. But yeah, man, we had some good time. Open up for Jody Wiley,
Yes.
Zap, the band. So we
Tipitinas.
Patina, New Orleans, baby. Yeah, so we had a good time, man. But even though we had a great time, and that was the initial plan to go to New Orleans, it was pretty obvious, that God had ordained me going there to meet my wife, my future wife. So yeah, it was good. It was a great time in New Orleans. Yeah,
It was.
yeah. So moved back to New Iberia for about what? I don't know, about another
Year and a half.
And then, yeah, man, I popped the question, and then when I
Well,
Jesus, here we go. Tell
you
me.
got to tell the story.
Well, all right, tell the story.
Okay, so he moved back to New Iberia, and at the time he moved back to New Iberia, that was our last falling out before he asked me to move to New Iberia with him. So when he moved back, I would go and see him. I would catch the Greyhound bus to go and see you. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I think I did that like 2 times. Boy, that was the longest ride ever. It only takes about an hour, almost hour and 45 minutes from New Orleans to get to New Iberia. That was a 12-hour ride to come see you. So you see the time I put in? So the second time I went there, we were in his mom's kitchen, and she absolutely loved me. She really did, and I loved her. And she saw something, for both of us as well. She saw that we could really make this work. And so he asked me to move to New Iberia to be with him. And yeah, when he did that, I said yes. I was already praying to God to get me out the hood. I'm in the hood. I'm like, I need to get away from here, so that I can wake up every day, because it was just that bad. But you asked me to move to New Iberia with you. I know you're going to say that you did not. You're going to say that I asked you, could I move? And that is not the truth. Because you came and told me, you came and said, hey, I asked my mom, can you move?
I did.
And you did.
I did. I did. So, long story short, I got in my mama van, went to New Orleans, Louisiana, in the hood, night ward, and she came out with all her trash bags.
I did.
Big old black bags of clothes and
a dresser.
We threw back there. Anyways, and yeah, man, that's how we left New Orleans. And it was in Iberia for another year and a half. And then shortly after we, got married in Iberia. And then we moved to Dallas, Texas, because we knew we wanted a fresh start. And we wanted to just get away from, obviously, where you were from, where I was from, and then have a new start in a whole new area that we didn't know nothing about.
Yeah. I remember Helen saying, my mother-in-law, rest her soul, she said, if you guys don't get out of here, you're not going to make it in New Iberia. And I believe that she was right. So we made the best move by leaving there.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. So it was really good. It was a good 3 years. And once we got married, that first year in Dallas was rough, tough for us.
It was tough.
In
many ways, money,
man. Girl, if you wasn't working at Piccadilly and wasn't bringing home food, I didn't know what was going to do.
Yeah, and we made our decision around that. Where would I work? Because I had just finished my cosmetology license in New Iberia, so I was waiting to do reciprocity in Dallas, Texas, so that I could get a job as a hairstylist there. But before we can get there, there were jobs that I applied for. I got a dealer's job. Remember that? I got a dealer's, hired at Dillard's, and I got hired at Piccadilly. And we was like, okay, which one are you going to take? Because we need to eat. And I was like, well, I take the Piccadilly one. And you worked at Dillard's.
I was at Dillard's.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, humble beginning. So anyway, long story short, man, just to kind of, that was kind of the beginning of our marriage and how it all started. And then to leading up to now, where we're 24 years into this marriage, and a lot of things has happened in our marriage, but you can't go put in 24 years and not go through some things, within your relationships. We're going to talk about a lot of those things just throughout the time that we're going to be on this podcast, in the future. But that's kind of how it all begun with you and I. And now the reason of getting to this place is because everything that we went through, and we made it through. We want to share that, man. And we just feel like testimonials is not meant for us to keep to ourselves. Testimonies are us to kind of share those things with people who we can help. And that's the main thing of this podcast. We want to help people to know that, hey, even if you're in a situation 7 years in and it's financially, hey, you can still make it. Even if it's, childhood traumas between the both of you, hey, you can still make it, right? Because we've dealt with all those things. Here we are still 24 years in, and we still rolling deep up in this thing.
Yeah. There were many times where, we could have ended up not being together, but it's because of God and the love that we have for each other that kept us together and kept, and that's why we're still here. Yeah. But it's a lot that we have to share with people because we know that marriages are they're falling by the wayside, but you have to have tough skin. You have to have tough skin to stay in it.
I think we went through so many different things that we've experienced ourselves, and all of our friends are married.
Yes.
And unfortunately, some people we know have either divorced, and there's some people that's still together. Man, just through everything that we've learned about each other, about ourselves, and about what God truly wants, right? That whole covenant thing about marriage, just through all that together, we feel like that's the reason why we have a little bit of experience enough to kind of help someone in that journey of marriage. Because a lot of stuff, just for one example, with you and I, we were thinking like we were struggling with things that I thought it was you thought it was me. When it comes to find out, it was our own personal things, our own personal traumas that we dealt with growing up, right? Yeah. And that's what I was fighting your childhood trauma. You was fighting my childhood trauma, but we didn't know that. We were fighting so much on certain things, and I'm like, wow. And we finally realized it's not you I'm fighting. It's the way that you were brought up that I'm fighting, that trauma that you dealt with, and vice versa. So. And that was a huge game changer for us. Yeah. Because it's so easy to just kind of get caught up and be like, man, she tripping, she this or she that or he tripping, right? But man, that's how you were raised. That's all you know. Yeah. Right? And you don't know what you don't know, right? So that was big. That was a big breakthrough for us.
It was. And we didn't realize that until we started this self-development journey.
For sure.
But I think we did so many things wrong in the very beginning of our marriage relationship. We didn't know how to be married to each other because we didn't have examples, really good examples of that. And so that caused a lot of friction and a lot of, not knowing who we are to each other, or even just knowing who we are in Christ, and identity crisis, all that kind of stuff. So it's very important, I believe, that when you are with someone and you're talking about marrying them, not just getting therapy before, but actually really sitting down and asking questions. We didn't ask each other questions. Right. We didn't have a plan for how our marriage was gonna go and how it was gonna work, and we didn't have a plan for that. There was no blueprint. We just went in head first, and at some point we crashed. We didn't have any foundation set up.
For sure. Yeah, man. But that's the reason why we feel like we have things to share and talk about. So we are excited about this podcast, Couples Connect, man. We're looking to bring you guys some amazing guests that can share their testimony. And the biggest thing about us is that we want people to come on here and be transparent and open about their situations, because we serve a true God, and we want everything on this podcast to be true and honest, because we know that that's where the healing, that's where we're going to be able to make the connection with other people. So we're going to try our best to make sure that we keep everything to the truest, the realest, or transparency that we can, to make sure that, we're giving you the real, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what Couples Connect is about. That's what we're about. Anything in particular you want to share with everybody, maybe before we get up on out of here? We just want to kind of do a little why are we doing this and who we are.
Yeah, I know we're going to dive deep into quite a few things, but I just want to say, coming from a woman's perspective is that a lot of times, we feel like, we're the women and we feel like we don't have. So I can tell you this really quick. I felt like, because I told you, I said, I'm not a controlling person. I'm not. I do not try to control you or people. But then I realized that after going on my journey of self-development, that I did have some type of control issues, right? And so I just want to say that as far as the women, like, we need not to point fingers, because there are things within us that needs to be addressed and focused on, and realized, and that things that we need to be aware of on how we can help in the marriage, help build our husbands up, help to encourage them. And it gets hard sometimes because, things maybe not going the way that we want it to go, but we are their helpmate and we are there to lift them up. So it's pretty much what I want to say, but I know we're going to get more into that.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot to dig into, man, but that was good though. That was good to share, because I think, I think there are going to be some conversations where we're going to dig a little bit more into that woman, the spouse, the female's, part in everything, and also the husband's part in everything, because, the two come together and they make one.
Yeah.
But they got to play their part, everybody has to, I guess, hold themselves responsible, to their actions and everything that they do in a marriage, because it can't just always be about the other person who's doing wrong. So, man, I'm excited about Couples Connect podcast, man. If you are in a place where you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to just continue to take your marriage to the next level, we hope that we can share some stuff with you, bring some stuff to the table that can help you to just continue to grow in that space where you guys can truly have a fruitful and prosperous marriage, because that's how it was intended to be. Yeah. And we just feel that sometimes maybe people give up too soon. But I think if we can identify some of those things that's going on in the marriage, just through other people's testimony, I think that can really just be truly a great benefit to some couples out there. So, man, we're excited about Couples Connect.
Yeah,
right?
We are.
So tune in, man. Lock in. We'll be letting you guys know probably on the next podcast on when we're going to continue to up every episode. For now, man, we ask you guys to lock in with us, and that means, man, subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you hit the notification button, so every time we drop an episode, you're going to always get notified of that episode. So, we got some cool stuff coming, man. We're excited again. Stay locked in. Couples Connect. It's going down.
Yeah. Come on this ride with us.
Come on this ride. Come on this ride with us.
We have a lot to share.
Come on this ride. We got a lot to share,
and
man.
And a lot to learn.
For sure. So, hey, Couples Connect 2024. And we out.
We out.
Peace.